You also have Mercury here. Mercury's like the smartest planet. Think of a computer. You're like downloading information, but you have to export it or the computer would break. It's like a blanket. Astrology can feel just like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
This is my life and you're meant to heal.
Yeah.
If you missed StarStruck Live with me, Charlie and Dana, now you have the chance to join in on the fun, even after the fact. So go to pave.events, that's PAVE.EVENTS, and join us like it's live. On-demand access in September 9th. Hey Starlets! Today we are blessed to have the beautiful Daisy Kent with us. You may know Daisy from season 28 of The Bachelor.
Thanks for having me.
Yay! Okay, so we have to give the people what they want, and we're going to jump right in and talk about The Bachelor.
Okay.
Tell us about your time on the show.
Yes, I had such a great experience, and I'm very thankful for it. It absolutely changed my life.
Yeah.
It is crazy when you're on the show because you're in such a bubble and you don't have your phone, you don't have any communication with the outside world. So that part of it
How
is
long
pretty
did you
wild.
go without communication?
2 months.
Without even talking to your family?
Yeah, besides my hometown. So I got to see my family on my hometown, but
Right.
it was probably only I was probably only with them for a few hours. Yeah.
What? So you couldn't even text your mom and be like, let her know how it's going?
No.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
no, you have no communication, and you also you don't see the news or anything. You have no idea what's going on.
You're literally in quarantine all over
Yeah.
again. Damn. Because Vanderpump, I would think filming for 5 hours was a lot, but then you go home and you can at least debrief and have your phone and go back to normal life. But you were literally at camp almost,
literally it's like summer camp in a way.
That's so fun though. But you loved it.
I had a really great experience, and I'm very thankful for that because I know sometimes that's not the case when people do reality TV shows. So I'm very thankful that mine was positive.
Yeah.
And I loved all the producers and everyone that was involved.
Right. I know that I relate to you there. I didn't know how it was going to go either, but now we can both be on the other side of it and be grateful. Thank God.
Definitely.
Okay. So I know we both have our fair share of reality TV experiences, Bravo and ABC.
Yeah.
But I've heard they're so different. And I just want to know, I know you probably can't talk about it, but is there anything from filming The Bachelor or just anything that really surprised you? Were you guys allowed to drink?
We were allowed to drink. You could have 2 drinks per hour, I think it was. Oh. How about you?
We had a 2-drink minimum
throughout
the whole night, but that was just, they would cover it. So they would pay, production would pay for 2 drinks. And then after that, you can keep drinking, but you have to pay for it yourself. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I would also say a thing that shocked me were the producers and how close I got with them. Because I never really understood what a producer was or how involved they were. Yeah. But it is
we're taught to fear them. Everyone's don't trust the producers. We're kind of taught.
That's what I heard going into it too. But it's crazy because a couple of the producers, especially one of them is one of my super close friends.
Yeah. I know. I agree. There's still people to this day that I talk to and we all catch up, and it is a family. You feel you're all working on this production together and you become friends. You do trust them.
Yeah.
When people are is it hard sharing your life? It's I don't know for you, but at first I did think so. Yeah. But then you get comfortable with everyone.
Yeah, you get used to it. Yeah. And it's interesting too because I know a lot of people when they come off The Bachelor, it's kind of, and I know for me it was too because I'm in that bubble. Yeah. And every single day you have somebody asking you how are you feeling? What are your emotions? And talking to you, and it's almost like a therapist in a way.
Wait, yes.
But then you get off the show and there's nothing.
No one's there
and
anymore.
It's and nobody understood what you went through and stuff. So I remember especially being back the first few weeks from filming, I was what just happened?
Wow. It's called, that actually is crazy. Yeah. Because it's I went home and obviously you still had your friends, I'm sure, but it's I have had James or, people who have been doing it for so long. Yeah. And they would help me kind of be okay, this is how it feels after, or would walk me through it. But I feel It is weird. Yeah, you're doing testimonials and they're like, how did this moment make you feel?
Yeah.
And then after, dang.
And then you get back and it's like you go right back to your normal life and you're kind of like, wait.
You had a following before Bachelor, right? Like you were creating content.
Yeah,
before.
I had a little bit of a following. My TikTok, I think I had like 40K.
Oh, wow.
And then my Instagram, I think I had 11K.
Okay.
But
so you were like used to. Like,
I mean,
a little.
not on that scale because all the stuff I was making, the content was just about like my hearing loss and my cochlear implant. None of it was like people like being in my business and like knowing what was going on in my life.
Personal
so
stuff.
That was really weird. And it was like very overnight for me.
Yeah.
Because I had seen the show when I was like growing up. I watched it with my mom.
Right.
So when I was asked to come on, we were both like, this is weird.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was kind of meant to happen.
Wait, so did you get asked, like, how did that go?
I got asked. I was making TikToks about my implant. And I had like a couple that went pretty viral. And one of the casting producers saw one of my TikToks and then they reached out to me.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it was
people have to audition usually to.
It's like, most people apply or someone like submits them.
Okay.
But yeah, so it was really interesting because everything just kind of fell in place. Yeah. And so it was an interesting time too. I was still learning how to hear with my cochlear implant. Speech didn't sound that good.
Wow.
And so before I did it, I was like, I don't know if this is the right thing for me. But I was kind of just like trusting that it was in my plan because everything happened so smoothly.
And even just you making content before, like that wouldn't have led you there. So it's just like everything that
I feel like everything happened for a reason.
That's so
which is cool. Yeah.
And then now you have a bigger audience and you get to share your story with more people and help more people.
Yeah, it is cool.
Before we leave this subject and get into astrology, I have more questions. So you made it to the season finale.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of the moments. I mean, obviously you're just literally such a light anyway, but I think the whole finale and the way that you played it was just such a breath of fresh air and so nice, and everyone just loved you. Explain the finale and how that went down for those that maybe didn't see it.
Well, it was me and one other girl, Kelsey, left, and we had been friends throughout the season. And it got to the point where like I knew it wasn't me, and I also knew like he wasn't the person for me. Yeah. Like so much so that I knew there was no way that he was thinking I was for him. I just don't know how else to say it besides I just like felt it so strongly in my heart. I saw like the whole process through, and then I ended up going over there and was like, I know it's not me and it's okay. But I didn't want to just like leave in a way that would like be disrespectful to him or disrespectful to Kelsey because I cared about her too. So I just tried to do what I thought what was best. And yeah, it was a really special thing. And I remember when it happened, like I knew what I did felt right to me. But I remember when it was coming like up to the point where it was going to air, I was like, I don't know if people are going to like react well to this. And it was so positive, and I had like so many people reaching out and on social media and like even family and friends. So it was a really like impactful thing for me, and it kind of made me trust myself more in a way.
Yeah.
Because for a while, especially kind of going through all my health stuff, it made me really insecure and like really not always want to do what I want to do and kind of listen to other people. And I think it was really a moment where I took things like into my own hands and I was confident about it. Yeah. And so it really changed my perspective on myself too.
That's amazing. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So that was the advice that I was given before, but just by my mom and close friends. Be yourself.
Yeah.
And it is so nice when you do it and it's like, oh, okay, that went well. Yeah. And you're like, okay, that does work. Just be myself, because that's all you had to do. And it worked. And people saw you for who you truly were, which is a girl's girl.
Thank you.
Love. And I love Kelsey too. And I love that you guys can all still be friends too. Like I love when we're all out and they're just there. And I literally forget, because like I didn't know you guys.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't on the show with you. So I forget all of the like history that you all have and like all that you've been through together.
Yeah, it's so funny to look back on. And even because we filmed over a year ago now. But especially Kelsey and Rachel, we were like friends the whole time. And I think we all just had such respect for people. Yeah. I mean, of course, like we all had our moments and things were like hard when stuff was airing. But I think like at the end of the day, we're all like good people.
You were such a fan favorite, Daisy, that you were offered the role of the Next Bachelorette. How flattering was that?
It was really flattering because I was like, oh my gosh, like they like see this like potential in me too to like be able to do this and stuff. But it definitely, I just knew in my heart like it wasn't for me. And so I was like very content with my decision too. It was hard at times, and I remember like talking about it, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And then as I thought about it, it just kind of, and like I sat with myself with it, I was like, it just became more and more clear that it wasn't meant to be me.
Yeah. And now you're in a relationship.
Yes.
And he lives in Vegas.
Yes.
And we need to go to one of James's shows.
We have to. We've been talking about this. We need to go do it.
It's going to happen. So you made the right choice, obviously. Again, you listened to yourself, trusted that intuition, and you didn't need the Bachelorette too.
Yeah.
You didn't need that experience. That's cool. Well, thank you, Daisy, for sharing that information.
Thank you.
Let's get into the birth chart. So before we get into the astrology, I was hoping we could share with the audience just a little bit of your upbringing and your background. I know you went through a lot of health issues growing up. Are you comfortable talking about that and sharing your experience?
Yeah, definitely. I grew up in Minnesota. I'm the middle of 5 kids, very close with my family. Yeah, I had a lot of health issues growing up. Doctors could never really figure out what was wrong. It kind of started when I would get sick. I would get way more sick than my siblings. And then I started having seizures, got misdiagnosed with like epilepsy, vestibular migraines. They couldn't really figure out what was going on. And then I got diagnosed with Meniere's disease, which is a disorder in the inner ear. So it affects it affects your hearing, your balance, you get vertigo, a lot of tinnitus, like ringing in the ears. But for it to happen at such a young age was rare for me.
Yeah.
It was rare for anyone. And so we started doing more testing, and then my hearing kept getting worse. Found out I had Lyme disease. So I did treatment for that.
Yeah, you went to Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Can you talk about that? Because that's like, I feel like everyone needs to know about this.
Yeah, that's actually something I haven't talked a lot about. So I think that'll be interesting. But I did treatment in the States and nothing was really working. And it was at the point where it wasn't just like affecting my hearing, it was affecting my memory. It was affecting my like ability to do things. And I was really sick. I remember it was my senior year of college, and like my friends would go out and I would try to go out with them, and I would have to come home and I'd be like dry heaving or throwing up in the toilet because I felt so sick. And I wasn't drinking at that point. It was just the medicine I was on was so strong and my body was just so weak. And then I kind of reached the end where I was like, okay, like there's no way this can get worse. I moved back to Minnesota, and I was like with my parents, and I like couldn't get out of bed. That's how sick I was. And I would start throwing up. I couldn't even hold myself up.
How old were you at this point? Was this college?
It was right after my senior year. So, but it was like through, I would say like summer going into my senior year is when it all got like super, super bad.
Okay.
And then I went.
A good time at all. That sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I went to Germany that following like August through September. So it was right after I graduated. So I think I would have been like 21 or 22, I think.
Yeah, like right out of college.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I went, because I was actually there for my 23rd birthday. I was in the hospital in Germany.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
It was one of the craziest experiences I've ever like gone through. I think just because it was so intense, it completely changed my life, and I'm so thankful for it. But I was in like the hospital for over a month, and the whole time you're getting injections, infusions. I had tubes going into my chest. I was put to sleep, and my body temperature was raised like extremely high. I don't remember parts of it just because that's how it's like a huge detox.
Yeah. Wow. But it saved your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I feel like if you didn't go to Germany, it would have, I mean.
Yeah, I don't like really know where I would be right now.
The system is so scary. I'm so happy that you found Germany. Because didn't you find it through, like, you had a friend?
Yeah, it was crazy too how it happened, because I had my, like, one of my best friends from college who was my roommate. She knew somebody who had gone from her high school. And then another girl in my sorority was like, I have this friend, she was really sick, and she went to Germany and did this treatment, and she's completely better now. And it was the same place.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then one of the kids' parents who went, their mom was a nurse, And so my parents talked to her a lot about it and we went over it. But it is different. Like you're in a different country.
Yeah.
Even like the language barriers. But I'm so thankful for them. And it was like the hardest thing, but the best thing.
Yeah, the hardest thing, but the most rewarding, literally.
Yeah.
Like getting your life and now getting to share that journey. It cures Lyme disease, but you still had your Meniere's.
Yeah.
But you're healthy now.
Like a month after I got back, I was like, okay. I was like, I'm feeling a lot better. And then it just kept getting better and better. The only thing was my hearing. But sometimes when your hearing has been like destructed, and I had so many health things, they're not entirely exactly sure what it is. I'm actually doing a bunch of genetic testing right now that takes a while to get back.
Okay.
But they don't really know exactly why, but everything that I've had can affect your hearing. And so it got to the point where I was doing really well, but my hearing was still bad and I was really struggling to communicate with people.
Yeah.
And I met my surgeon and she was like amazing. And she just was really good at saying like, this is going to change my life, but for the better. And might not be easy at first, but in the long run, it's going to give you like the life that you want.
Wow.
And I did it and it's been like the most life-changing thing.
Literally. That's incredible. And you wrote a children's book.
Yeah.
Called Daisy Do. All the sounds you do. Like, that's so cute. I love it. Tell us about that.
Yeah. When I was deciding to get a cochlear implant, I was like looking things up and I was like, there's nothing really like out here. And I remember when I was getting it, one of the things I struggled with the most was that, okay, this is going to make me different. Yeah. And it's going to make me visibly different. I mean, if I have my hair down, you can't see it most of the time. But if I have it up, like you can see it. And I remember I was like, what guy will ever want to be with me? Like, what person's going to understand this? Like, why would someone want to be with someone who like has things that make them like broken like this? And I remember thinking that and I was like, oh my gosh, if I feel this way, I'm like, I can't like, I'm sure there's like a little kid out there that's going through it or has been like going through this or is going through school and getting bullied and stuff like that. And I was like, how can I do something to impact in that way? And so I was like, I've always wanted to write a children's book. It's just ever since I was little, I was like, I really want to write one. And so it was just the perfect moment. And it was really cool. So I YouTubed for like 2 weeks straight and I figured out how to do it. And I love it.
Oh, that's so awesome. And you published it last year, right?
Yeah, I published it in August, like the past August.
Awesome. And is it on Amazon or how can people find it?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Okay. That's awesome. And I'll also be sure to include a link to the book in the description. So if you guys are interested, you can find it there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, it's birth chart time.
Let's do it. I've been so excited for this.
Yay. I'm one of those people who loves a good routine, but only if it still leaves room for adventure. I have my go-to walking route that clears my head, but every now and then I will take a detour down a side street or trail just to see where it leads. That's kind of how I've started thinking about nourishment too. Some days I need structure, and some days I want a shake that's packed with the unexpected. That's why I love Kachava. It's this all-in-one whole body meal shake that somehow manages to keep me energized, focused, and full for hours. And it actually tastes amazing. The chocolate flavor is my favorite right now, of course, especially because it's blended with almond milk, frozen banana, and a little peanut butter. What really sold me, though, was the ingredients. We're talking maca root, goji berries, chia seeds, plus 25 grams of plant-based protein, 26 vitamins and minerals, 6 grams of fiber, and no weird artificial stuff. It's clean, it's convenient, and it keeps up with whatever the day throws at me. Fuel your day with Kachava. Go to kachava.com and use code StarStruck for 15% off your next order. That's Kachava, KACHAVA.com. Code StarStruck for 15% off. I'm going to make this a little bigger so you can see it. I know if it's your first time looking at your birth chart, it can look a little intense, but basically, for those of you that don't know, a birth chart it's basically just a snapshot of the sky at the exact moment you were born. And so, I like to think of it as like our cosmic blueprint for life. And so there's a lot in here that you've already experienced, like early childhood stuff. I usually like to focus on the parts that we haven't experienced yet, because I think that that's where it's inspiring and it's like, okay, it's validating, right? It's like, this is what the universe wants from you. But I do want to kind of go back to your origin and start from the beginning and just kind of translate this for you. So you entered the world and you met Libra. Libra is your rising sign.
Okay.
/ your ascendant. But the rising sign, it is the energy that I like to call it our autopilot. Like, it is the energy that is always present. Again, it's, you were born here in the first house. So it's like you tap right into that energy. And Libra is ruled by planet Venus, which is the planet of love and beauty and peace.
Aww.
And it's charming. It's diplomatic. Like, everybody loves a Libra. It's just, you're magnetic. Like, people just, they love you. You're obviously a Virgo sun, but the rising sign is really, it's like, as long as you're alive and you're waking up every day and you're going out the door, Libra is really what's motivating you.
No way.
Yeah. If you're ever reading your horoscope, and this goes for anyone listening, always read for your rising sign. Because horoscopes are based off of the hour marker, which is the rising sign.
Okay, that's so interesting, because I feel like whenever like I talk about it or meet somebody, I'm like, oh, I'm a Virgo.
Yeah.
Which, like, I am a Virgo, but I didn't realize that the other, like, your rising sign. And
it goes
what is it, your rising sign and your?
You would say, I'm a Libra rising, Aries Moon, Virgo sun. Yes, you're still a Virgo, but I like to think of the sun as who we are becoming in this lifetime. It's the sun. So it is where we shine. It's our identity. It's where we feel bold, right?
Okay.
And it feels really good. Like, we want more of that energy. So you're a Virgo sun. Your identity is Virgo, and it's becoming more Virgo. Also, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of writing. You have Mercury in Virgo, which basically just means, I'm not surprised that you've written a book. I think you'll write many more. Mercury is the storyteller. Yes.
No way.
Virgo,
okay, that makes...
Yes. Virgo and Gemini are both ruled by Mercury. But Gemini, I think of Gemini as more like the entertainment journalist. And then I think of Virgo as like hard journalism. Like, we're sharing facts and information. And it's Virgo's basic role in the zodiac is to help. They're the helper. They're the perfectionists. They're efficient. They get shit done. So because you have your sun in Virgo, you're really seen for your ability to help.
Okay.
And then because you have Mercury, you have to share your story. You have to be able to share.
So if, I don't know if this is a dumb question, when people are like Mercury's in retrograde, would that affect me more than like other people or other signs?
Yeah. I do want to note that while we're filming this, Mercury is in retrograde. But however, when this is airing, it will not be retrograde. It will be direct.
So my voice will be back.
Your voice will be back and ready to go. She's going to be ready to sing from the roof. Oh my God. Okay. Let's hang out with your Virgo for a little bit longer.
Okay.
So you were born here, right? This is the first house.
Yeah.
It's basically the idea of we're looping around. And by the time we get to the 12th house, we're tired.
Yeah.
The 12th house is where we go to find solitude. It's where we go to retreat. It's where we go to take a nap, get rid of our phones, and escape, essentially. You have what's called a stellium in your 12th house. I do too. And I love when I meet other people with stelliums in the 12th house because it is not the easiest placement. A stellium means when you have 3 or more planets that live in a house. All it means is there's a lot of energy there.
Okay.
You have lovely planets there. You have Mercury, you have Venus, you have the sun. Like, those are positive planets.
Yeah.
But they're living in a house that's actually more hidden and private from the world. Especially the sun. Remember, the sun is our identity and it's where we shine. But you have the sun in the 12th house, which is more hidden and behind the scenes. It's doing healing work. But the sun in the 12th house essentially is saying, okay, I have to go here and heal myself. I have to go take naps and rest and go to Germany, basically right after college when I'd rather be hanging out with my friends and being a normal girl my age. I have to go into this hospital and basically heal myself.
Yeah.
And it can feel kind of shitty, I'm sure, in the moment and scary. But ultimately, the 12th house has the power for universal healing. It's where we see Buddhist monks, shamans. It's where we see spiritual healers.
Wow.
It's where we see physical doctors and nurses as well. So it is a healing house. So because your sun is here, that's just further validation for you. Not that you need it, but just cool proof from the universe that you are shining
Yeah.
in this area and you're meant to heal others.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I agree. And you also have Mercury here, which again is you're learning. Mercury is like the smartest planet. It's the planet. Think of a computer.
Okay.
You're like downloading information, but you have to export it or the computer would break. So wherever Mercury is, this is where we're downloading information and we're learning, we're processing it, and then we're putting it back out into the world. I mean, the fact you even went through this healing journey, wrote a literal book, put it out into the world to heal. I mean, it's just very literal, but you're communicating to the world in a more sensitive, empathetic, nurturing way. The 12th house feels everything. It's the last house. So it's almost like it encompasses all of the other houses.
Yeah.
And it's intense. And it only gets intense when we ignore it. That's kind of there's like a bit of spiritual hygiene that comes along with the 12th house. So I love that even since I've met you, you've been like, I want a reading.
Yeah.
And then finding your chart, I'm like, oh my gosh, no, you need a reading. Like it's almost just this, it's like a blanket. Astrology can feel just like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
This is my life. And you're meant to heal.
Yeah.
And then just the fact that it's all in Virgo, again, with the helping and the healing and the writing projects that I think even just social media, the 12th house is where we usually log off. But it's just funny because you have Virgo here. So it's like, I'm still meant to communicate and like put my message out there. It's just going to look a little different or be a different message than what people are used to getting. If that makes sense.
It's funny too, because I feel like the way people have like related to me most sometimes is when I do things that other people don't usually do, or when I talk about things in a way that people don't usually, especially on social media.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Guess what, Daisy? Me too. And I have Mercury in my 12th house, and that just kind of hit me because same. Yeah. I mean, obviously you're talking about your, even just being on The Bachelor, right? Like that was just a cool, unique experience. But then your healing journey, which is helping others. And then me communicating in whatever language this is with astrology. It's like we're communicating in different ways. And that's the 12th house. It's not real. The 12th house is like the universe, outer space, nirvana, like whatever you want to call it. It's
so crazy.
But we're like communicating in a different way. And it can sometimes, especially when we're younger, it can feel like we're a little crazy or like, why aren't people understanding me or like hearing me right? It can feel isolating. That's the 12th house. It can feel sometimes too, I'm sure even for you, literally not being able to hear like you once were able to.
I felt like when I was losing my hearing, that was really extremely hard. And I did feel very alone and isolated.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because it was a time where I really like reflected inwards and I like started meditating and doing stuff like that. And it was, I remember like something just like changed. And now it's interesting because I feel like I used to be such an extrovert and then I switched to be an introvert and now I'm like both.
So you're a Libra rising. So again, we'll always come back to that because that's your energy.
Yeah.
And so because you're a Libra rising, it's like, again, the moment you were born, you were already a people person. Like that's just Libra. It's the social butterfly. Like it wants everyone to get along and to be besties basically. And so that is still like, that's your energy. But then having these other planets, like the 12th house is just so powerful that it's almost like, okay, maybe before we go out, and I'm speaking to both of us, by the way, because we both have 12th house placements and we're both always at these events and doing a lot. And it's like, I'm speaking to both of us. Nap, meditate, take care of ourselves before we go and take on the rest of the energy that is the world. Because it's freaking intense and tiring. But you're meant to do it. You're still meant to get out of the 12th house. You have Leo and Mars, which, by the way, Mars is how we assert ourselves and it is how we do everything we do. It's our action planet. You have that in Leo, which is a fire sign, the zodiac sign of entertainment and of making people feel good because it's ruled by the sun. So because you have Mars in Leo, even your like get ready with me's, makeup, style, like that's all very Leo. And so like that can give you energy. Yeah. Being able to still like, you know, you can go here and meditate, but like you're meant to be out into the world is what I'm trying to say. Don't leave us. Don't go to like, well, you can go to Bali for 2 weeks, but come back. And then you have an Aries moon too, which fire. Aries is fire.
Okay.
The moon is a watery planet. The moon is how we process emotions and how we feel. And the 7th house is a house that is not about us at all. It's other people. And so when we are putting our emotional planet in the 7th house, we do have a complete desire to nurture everyone else.
Yeah.
And what's kind of funny is the 7th house, this is where we find our cosmic +1. Like this is where our partner enters. When the moon is in the 7th house, it is kind of your destiny in this lifetime. Your soul is basically searching for your other half. And I just love that you obviously even experienced being on The Bachelor. Like, of course you did. The moon in the 7th house was like, no, we're going on a whole ass journey to find Daisy's cosmic +1.
Yeah.
And you even trusting your intuition and everything you said about like turning down The Bachelorette and, you know, stepping aside so like Kelsey and Joey could have their moment. Like that's such a good example of the moon in the 7th house. It's like you're putting other people not necessarily before yourself. Like I will say that's the one thing to watch out for. Like, make sure you're taking care of yourself too. But you want everyone to find their person. And also the fact you trust your intuition. The moon, it's sorcery. The moon is the planet of our intuition, our psychic abilities. It's the most spiritual planet. And so wherever the moon is, that's also where our intuition is really strong. So having that in the 7th house, like you can read people really well, I imagine, and always trust your gut with people who enter your life.
That's good to know.
And I will say the moon is not the easiest planet. The moon represents, you know, it's a wave. Highs and lows, but wherever the moon is, it's an area where ultimately you're just trying to find comfort and home and peace. Aries is the sign of action, adventure, taking risks, doing things big, bold, grand. And when we have an Aries moon, there's a strong need in our lifetime for adventure and to basically live life to the fullest and to not be scared and to take risks and to try everything once.
That's awesome.
So does that connect to you at all?
Yeah, I would say so, because I feel like I kind of tend to do sometimes the things that people don't expect me to always do, but it's things that I want to do, if that makes sense.
I have to ask you this because I'm starting my own case study.
Yeah.
Would you go skydiving?
Yes.
Knew it. Aries moons, man. I like they're very brave and they're very adventurous. My moon is in the 8th house and like that does not entertain me in the slightest. Like I would never do that. And I can't even imagine any soul
someone
that would
maybe have to give me a little nudge, but
absolutely not. Absolutely not. Aries moon, there is this need to just live life, like to explore and to experience everything. It's really excited to be here. Like that's Aries. So even traveling and just, you know, having a partner. Do you know what your boyfriend's sign is?
He's a Gemini.
Daisy, you didn't tell me this.
You want to know what's crazy though is like, I would say my like last like.
Stop. Do you date all Geminis?
Yeah.
What?
But I don't know.
Okay.
At the beginning that they're Geminis.
No, I'm glad you don't, honestly.
Someone told me like that's a horrible, it wasn't with him, but with somebody else.
They get the stereotype for being like the F-boy of the zodiac.
It's interesting because the ones that like I have been with like have not been.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to look at their chart too and see, you know, now you know there's so much more to it.
Yeah.
And honestly, with compatibility, I like to look more at Venus and the moon, of course.
Okay.
Those are the planets of our emotions and love, where the sun sign is more about like our own identity. And the 9th house represents foreign travel, higher education, philosophy, spirituality. Whenever someone activates our 9th house, it's really good. It feels expansive. It feels spontaneous and fun and free. So like, I'm not surprised that you're attracting Geminis into your life because they activate a part of you that feels really like just fun and like you learn a lot from them.
Yeah,
so,
that's interesting.
Right? The 9th house is naturally a very lucky, positive house. So I like that he's activating your 9th house and you guys will probably travel a lot together. I'm glad that you have a good experience with Geminis. You do have a lot of Virgo placements ruled by Mercury, as is Gemini. So you guys have, your communication's probably really good. Okay, so before I share with you my favorite placement in your chart, save the best for last. You were telling me something about your dad, and I want you to kind of jump back into that if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah. So my dad, he's just such like a person. He has such like a big essence of love, but he's always been really spiritual. And I remember sometimes we'd be at church and he would have his eyes closed and I would be like, Dad, what are you doing? And he like wouldn't move, and then he'd be like startled, and it's because he was meditating.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
During
And
church,
so
that's so cool.
yeah, so my mom was Lutheran, so I was raised like Lutheran, like Christian, but my dad's very spiritual. And then when I was like 12 and all my health stuff really started happening, I remember after one of my like, it was a really bad doctor's appointment, they told me I would never be able to live on my own, drive a car, all of this stuff, and that it was going to get like progressively worse. And my dad, instead of bringing me home, he brought me to his friend's house, he's very spiritual, and he taught me how to meditate. And I was breathing, and he was doing breathing exercises. Or he didn't teach me how to meditate there, but I think in a way he did. But he was teaching me breath work, and I saw his aura. And I must have looked like stunned or something, because he was like, what's going on? And I was like, there's like light around you. And I was 12.
God. Oh, that's
and then so ever
cool.
Since that, I had been intrigued about it.
Yeah.
But I was also very conflicted about it, because like a lot of people who are religious say like you can't like meditate and stuff like that. So I was always conflicted by it. And then I remember one time when I was like older and it was getting bad, I was talking to my pastor about it, because I was really like big into meditating and it has always really helped me. Yeah. And he was like, if like you believe in God and God like created you, and he's like, then wouldn't you have that love and ability in yourself to like heal yourself and heal other people? And so then from like that moment, it was like all intertwined, and I like let myself like believe like it all.
Yeah. No, I love that. It is all connected. I believe I grew up religious as well.
Yeah.
We were Methodist, and then I ended up, we switched to non-denominational, which was a little better. But I had a lot of issues with like religion growing up. It just felt very limiting. And then throughout college and just, life happens. Obviously, I feel like the health journey that you went through, it all was, to happen for a reason. The 12th house is where you could believe in everything. Like the 12th house is pure love. And it's also the house of meditation, by the way, the 12th house.
Okay.
So that's really cool that you even had that type of experience with it. I mean, I could see you one day like teaching breath work or just being really involved in it, learning more, and just having that really like guide you throughout life. It sounds like you already have. You healed yourself. You did. That's just so cool. Wow. So the last piece that I wanted to show you, which is kind of tying into what we're talking about with the healing, it's Jupiter. And Jupiter is my favorite planet because Jupiter is the planet of abundance, opportunities, blessings. Similar to the moon, it's very spiritual. It's where we can see like manifesting, and it's basically wherever Jupiter is in our birth chart, this is an area where a lot of opportunities live for us.
Okay.
So you have Jupiter in your 6th house, which is the house of the day-to-day life. It is our structure, our schedules, our routines, but it's also health and wellness. It's where we go to our doctor appointments, going to the dentist. It is making our to-do list. It's our busy house. Okay. You have Jupiter in your 6th house. And so again, this is expanding this area for you. Oh. Also, you're maybe noticing, but it's opposite your 12th house. And so when we have two houses that are opposite each other, we can learn a lot because there's a lot of energy going on we already know in your 12th house. So think 12th house is rituals and routine in a more spiritual way. Again, it's that like spiritual hygiene, where the 6th house down here, this is where we have to come back to work. We got to, wake up when the alarm clock goes off, and we got to do things. That's life. We're being pulled back into the physical world. So you have Jupiter in the 6th. So it's like, go up here, meditate, learn, heal yourself, mentally, spiritually, and then come back down and heal the world and teach and help others. The 6th house is actually the Virgo house, which is the house of helping and service. So it's just beautiful to me how like obvious your chart is in the realm of like you're a healer. Does that make every day easy? No, but ultimately like your purpose. I'm not telling you your purpose, but I think it's very clear that there's a lot of stuff here that's pointing to the fact that you're meant to help other people.
Yeah,
and serve.
Definitely. It's cool to see it like in that aspect.
And you can kind of see like it's like a puzzle, right? Like all of the pieces start to point together.
Yeah.
I think too, having Jupiter in the 6th house is really great for business, like social media and writing. The 6th house is where we go to our 9 to 5. Like it's the work house, because you have Jupiter here, like you wear many different hats. So you can have different jobs and you can juggle many different things. Also, Jupiter represents foreign travel. So work opportunities that are taking you overseas or abroad, or just having a lot of success and ability to get your message and story far and wide.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it's in Pisces. You have Jupiter in Pisces, which I'm obsessed with. Pisces it rules the 12th house. Pisces is the spiritual sign that is all about healing. It's also movies and music and art and beauty. Pisces just wants things to feel good and to be easy and for everyone to get along. It's very similar to your kind of Libra energy there. It's just soft and genuine and it feels everything. But having Jupiter in Pisces, you're a healer.
That's really, this is like so interesting.
I'm glad that it's resonating with you and that you feel connected to your chart. It's so special getting to do like birth chart readings with people for the first time, because I just remember having mine done and just feeling like, whoa, it makes sense.
That is.
Sense.
Like that does make sense.
Okay, well, that was so fun. Thank you
that was so
much, Daisy.
Thank
so
you. You're the best.
Of course. That was so special. And thank you for being here, for sharing this cosmic journey with us. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.